Art versus Cupid by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org. Maiden, read by Sonia.
Cupid, read by John Burlinson.
Art versus Cupid. A room in a private house. A maiden sitting before a fire, meditating. Now have I fully fixed upon my part. Goodbye to dreams, for me a life of art. Beloved art, O realm serene and fair, above the mean and sordid world of care, above earth's small ambitions and desires. Art, art, the very word my soul inspires. From foolish memories it sets me free. Not what has been, but that which is to be, absorbs me now. Adieu to vain regret. The bow is tensely drawn, the target set. A knock at the door. The night is dark and chill, the hour is late. Who knocks upon my door?
'Tis I, your fate.
Thou dost deceive not me, but thine own self. My fate is not a wandering vagrant elf. My fate is here, within this throbbing heart, that beats alone for glory and for art. Another knock at the door.
Pray let me in, I am so faint and cold.
Door is pushed ajar. Enter Cupid, who approaches the fire with outstretched hands. Methinks thou art not faint, however cold, but rather too courageous and most bold. Surprisingly ill-mannered, sir, and rude, without an invitation to intrude into my very presence. Cupid, warming his hands.
But you see, girls never mind a little chap like me. They're always watching for me on the sly, and hoping I will call.
Indeed not I. My heart has listened to a sweeter voice, a clarion call that gives command, not choice. And I have answered to that call. I come. To other voices shall my ears be dumb. To art alone I consecrate my life. Art is my spouse, and I his willing wife. Cupid, slowly gazing in the grate.
Art is a sultan, and you must divide his love with many another ill-fed bride. Now I know one who worships you alone.
I will not listen, for the dice is thrown, and art has won me. On my brow some day shall rest the laurel wreath. Cupid, sitting down and looking at maid critically.
Just let me say, I think sweet orange blossoms under lace are better suited to your type of face.
I yet shall stand before an audience that listens as one mind, absorbed, intense, and with my genius I shall rouse its cheers, still it to silence, soften it to tears, or wake its laughter. Oh, the play, the play, the play's the thing, my boy, the play. Cupid, suddenly clapping his hands.
Oh, say, I know a splendid role for you to take, and one that always keeps the house awake, and calls for pretty dressing. Oh, it's great.
Well, what is it? Wherefore make me wait? Cupid, tapping his brow thoughtfully.
Oh, how is it those lines run? Oh, now I know. You make a stately entrance, measured, slow, to stirring music. Then you kneel and say something about to honor and obey, for better and for worse, till death do part.
Be still, you foolish boy. That is not art.
She needs great skill who takes the role of wife in God's stupendous drama, human life.
So I once thought. Oh, once my very soul was filled and thrilled with dreaming of that role. Life seemed so wonderful. It held for me no purpose, no ambition, but to be loving and loved. My highest thought of fame was some day bearing my dear lover's name. Alone I ofttimes uttered it aloud, or wrote it down, half timid, and all proud to see myself lost utterly in him, as some small star might joy in growing dim when sinking in the sun, Or as the dew, forgetting the brief little life it knew in space, might on the ocean's bosom fall, and ask for nothing, only to give all.
Now that's the talk. It's music to my ear, after all that stuff on art and a career. I hope she'll keep it up.
Again my dream shaped into changing pictures. I would seem to see myself in beautiful array move down the aisle upon my wedding day, and then I saw the modest living room with lighted lamp, and fragrant plants in bloom, and books and sewing scattered all about, and just we two alone.
There's not a doubt I'll land her yet.
My dream kaleidoscope changed still again, and framed love's dearest hope, the trinity of home, and life was good, and all its deepest meaning understood. Sits lost in a dream. Behind scenes a voice sings a lullaby, beautiful land of nod. Cupid in ecstasy tiptoes about and clasps his hands in delight. Another scene. A matron in her prime, I saw myself glide peacefully with time into the quiet middle years, content with simple joys the dear home circle lent. My sons and daughters made my diadem. I saw my happy youth renewed in them. The pain of growing old lost all its sting, for love stood near, in winter as in spring. Cupid tiptoes to door and makes a signal. Maiden starts up dramatically. 'Twas but a dream. I woke all suddenly. The world had changed, and now life means to me my art, the stage, excitement and the crowd, the glare of many footlights, and the loud applause of men as I cry in rage, "Give me the dagger!" or creep down the stage in that sleepwalking scene. Oh, art like mine will send the chills down every listener's spine, and when I choose, salt tears shall freely flow, as in the moonlight I cry, "Romeo, Romeo, oh wherefore art thou Romeo?" Aye, 'tis done, my dream of home life.
It is but begun.
The heart but once can dream a dream so fair, and so henceforth love thoughts I do forswear. Since faith in love has crumbled to the dust, in fame alone I put my hope and trust. Cupid at the door beckons excitedly. Enter lover with outstretched arms.
Here's one who will explain yourself to you, and make that old sweet dream of love come true. Fix up your foolish quarrel. Time is brief, so waste no more of it in doubt or grief.
The lovers meet and embrace. Cupid in doorway.
Warm lip to lip, and heart to beating heart, the cast is made. My lady has her part.
Curtain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Autumn by Alice Carey. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. Shorter and shorter now the twilight clips the days, as through the sunset gates they crowd, and summer from her golden collar slips and strays through stubble fields, and moans aloud. Save when by fits the warmer air deceives, and, stealing hopeful to some sheltered bower, she lies on pillows of the yellow leaves, and tries the old tunes over for an hour. The wind, whose tender whisper in the May set all the young blooms listening through the grove, sits rustling in the faded boughs today, and makes his cold and unsuccessful love. The rose has taken off her tire of red, the mullein stalk its yellow stars have lost, and the proud meadow pink hangs down her head against earth's chilly bosom, witched with frost. The robin that was busy all the June, before the sun had kissed the topmost bough, catching our hearts up in his golden tune, has given place to the brown cricket now. The very cock crows lonesomely at morn, each flag and fern the shrinking stream divides. Uneasy cattle low, and lambs forlorn creep to their strawy sheds with nettled sides. Shut up the door. Who loves me must not look upon the withered world, but haste to bring his lighted candle and his storybook, and live with me the poetry of spring. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Autumn by Walter de la Mare. Read for LibriVox.org by Kangaroo. There is a wind where the rose was, cold rain where sweet grass was, and clouds like sheep stream o'er the steep, grey skies where the lark was. Not gold where your hair was, not warm where your hand was, but phantom forlorn beneath the thorn, your ghost where your face was. Sad winds where your voice was, tears, tears where my heart was, and ever with me, child ever with me, silence where hope was. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Autumn, a Dirge by Percy Bysshe Shelley. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. The warm sun is failing, the bleak wind is wailing, the bare boughs are sighing, the pale flowers are dying, and the year, on the earth her deathbed, in a shroud of leaves dead, is lying. Come, months, come away from November to May, in your saddest array. Follow the bier of the dead cold year, and like dim shadows watch by her sepulchre. The chill rain is falling, the nipped worm is crawling, the rivers are swelling, the thunder is knelling for the year. The blithe swallows are flown, and the lizards each gone to his dwelling. Come, months, come away, put on white, black, and grey, let your light sisters play. Ye follow the bier of the dead cold year, and make her grave green with tear on tear. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Bright star, would I were steadfast as thou art, by John Keats. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston, Tharp. Bright star, would I were steadfast as thou art, not in lone splendor hung aloft the night, and watching with eternal lids apart, like nature's patient, sleepless eremite, the moving waters at their priest-like task of pure ablution round earth's human shores, or gazing at the new soft-fallen mask of snow upon the mountains and the moors. No, yet still steadfast, still unchangeable, pillowed upon my fair love's ripening breast, to feel forever its soft fall and swell, awake forever in a sweet unrest, still, still to hear her tender taken breath, and so live ever, or else swoon to death. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The City in the Sea by Edgar Allan Poe. Lo, Death has reared himself a throne in a strange city lying alone far down within the dim west, where the good and the bad and the worst and the best have gone to their eternal rest. There shrines and palaces and towers, time-eaten towers that tremble not, resemble nothing that is ours. Around, by lifting winds forgot, resignedly beneath the sky, the melancholy waters lie. No rays from the holy heaven come down on the long night time of that town, but light from out the lurid sea streams up the turrets silently, gleams up the pinnacles far and free, up domes, up spires, up kingly halls, up fanes, up Babylon-like walls, up shadowy long-forgotten bowers of sculptured ivy and stone flowers, up many and many a marvellous shrine whose wreathed friezes intertwine the viol, the violet, and the vine. Resignedly beneath the sky the melancholy waters lie. So blend the turrets and shadows there that all seem pendulous in air, while from a proud tower in the town death looks gigantically down. There open fanes and gaping graves yawn level with the luminous waves, but not the riches there that lie in each idol's diamond eye, not the gaily jewelled dead tempt the waters from their bed. For no ripples curl, alas, along that wilderness of glass, no swellings tell that winds may be upon some far-off happier sea, no heavings hint that winds have been on seas less hideously serene. But lo, a stir is in the air. The wave, there is a movement there, as if the towers had thrust aside, in slightly sinking, the dull tide, as if their tops had feebly given a void within the filmy heaven. The waves have now a redder glow, the hours are breathing, faint and low, and when amid no earthly moans, down, down that town shall settle hence, hell, rising from 1,000 thrones, shall do it reverence. End of poem. Read by Michele Fry, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in October 2016. This recording is in the public domain.
Cock o' the North by Arthur Waugh. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Cock o' the North. Cock o' the North, the dawn is young, grey glimmering the pane, yet you, with your discordant tongue, have woken me again. Good beasts are silent in their pens. Hush! Leave the boasting to the hens. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Digging by Edward Thomas. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. Today I think only with sense. Sense dead leaves yield, and bracken and wild carrot seed, and the square mustard field. Odours that rise when the spade wounds the root of tree. Rose, currant, raspberry or goutweed, rhubarb or celery. The smoke smell, too, flowing from where a bonfire burns the dead, the waste, the dangerous, and all to sweetness turns. It is enough to smell, to crumble the dark earth, while the robin sings over again sad songs of autumn mirth. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Drinking by Abraham Cowley, 1618 to 1667. Read for LibriVox.org by Hatton43 in October 2016. The thirsty earth soaks up the rain, and drinks and gapes for drink again. The plants suck in the earth and are, with constant drinking, fresh and fair. The sea itself, which one would think should have but little need of drink, drinks twice 10,000 rivers up, so filled that they o'erflow the cup. The busy sun, and one would guess, by his drunken fiery face no less, drinks up the sea, and when he's done, the moon and stars drink up the sun. They drink and dance by their own light, they drink and revel all the night. Nothing in nature's sober found, but an eternal health goes round. Fill up the bowl then, fill it high, fill all the glasses there, for why should every creature drink but I? Why, man of morals, tell me, why? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Foundling by Lola Ridge. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Snow wraiths circle us like washers of the dead, flapping their white, wet cloths impatiently about the grizzled head, where the coarse hair mats like grass, and the efficient wind, with cold professional baste, probes like a lancet through the cotton shirt. About us are white cliffs and space. No facades show, nor roof, nor any spire, all sheathed in snow, the parasitic snow that clings about them like a blight. Only detached lights float hazily like greenish moons, and endlessly down the hoar street, accouched and comforted and sleeping warm, the blizzard waltzes with the night. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Haunted House by Janet Hamilton. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. The haunted house, in days of yore, stood lone, deserted, ruined, hoar, with dusty panes and moss-grown sill, with grass-grown steps, rooms dark and chill, where, while the wailing night winds moaned, pale shrouded spectres shrieked and groaned, and nightly, winged with wild affright, the trembling youth in rapid flight would pass the spot, nor look behind, for fearful sounds were on the wind, nor paused till on the hearth he stood amidst the dear fraternal brood. The haunted house! How vast the change in modern times! A goodly range of painted casements gaily shine with glittering panes, large crystalline and rich-cut goblets brimming high, where troops of fiends in ambush lie, prompt to obey that potent charm, the screw-propelling waiter's arm. And hark! Through rooms gay, thronged and bright, sound festal strains, and laughter light, and tinkling bells, and dancing feet that trip the time to music sweet. Ah, simple youth, beware, beware! Cross not that threshold, snowy fair, with varnished door forever ope, within the ghosts of murdered hope, of wedded duties, filial claims, of high resolves and noble aims, of health and fame, of time and peace, with wail and plaint that will not cease, for ever, when dark midnight falls, stalk through the rooms, glide round the walls, while warning voices mournful swell upon the wind with dirge-like knell. Pass, thoughtless youth! 'Twere death to stay. Avoid, turn from it, haste away! End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Haunted Houses by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. All houses wherein men have lived and died are haunted houses. Through the open doors the harmless phantoms on their errands glide, with feet that make no sound upon the floors. We meet them at the doorway, on the stair, along the passages they come and go, impalpable impressions on the air, a sense of something moving to and fro. There are more guests at table than the hosts invited. The illuminated hall is thronged with quiet, inoffensive ghosts, as silent as the pictures on the wall. The stranger at my fireside cannot see the forms I see, nor hear the sounds I hear. He but perceives what is, while unto me all that has been is visible and clear. We have no title deeds to house or lands. Owners and occupants of earlier dates from graves forgotten stretch their dusty hands, and hold in mortmain still their old estates. The spirit world around this world of sense floats like an atmosphere, and everywhere wafts through these earthly mists and vapours dense a vital breath of more ethereal air. Our little lives are kept in equipoise by opposite attractions and desires, the struggle of the instinct that enjoys and the more noble instinct that aspires. These perturbations, this perpetual jar of earthly wants and aspirations high, come from the influence of an unseen star, an undiscovered planet in our sky. And as the moon from some dark gate of cloud throws o'er the sea a floating bridge of light, across whose trembling planks our fancies crowd into the realm of mystery and night, so from the world of spirits there descends a bridge of light, connecting it with this, o'er whose unsteady floor, that sways and bends, wander our thoughts above the dark abyss. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Heraclitus by William Johnson Cory, 1823 to 1892. Read for LibriVox.org by Hatton43 in October 2016. They told me, Heraclitus, they told me you were dead. They brought me bitter news to hear and bitter tears to shed. I wept as I remembered how often you and I had tired the sun with talking and sent him down the sky. And now thou art lying, my dear old carrion guest, a handful of grey ashes, long, long ago at rest. Still are thy pleasant voices, thy nightingales awake, for death he taketh all away, but them he cannot take. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Homeward Track by C.J. Dennis. Read for LibriVox.org by Algy Pug. Once a year we lumber southward with the clip from Yarradee, spell the bullocks in the township while we run our yearly spree. What's a bullocky to live for? Days of toil are hard and long, and you'd not begrudge him yearly one short week of wine and song. While it lasts, he asks no better. When it's over, yoke 'em up, and we'll make another promise for to shun the brimming cup. When we've done our little check-in and the township's at our back, then we start to think of mending out along the homeward track. For there comes a time of reckoning when we're trudging by the team, back again to work and worry, kind of waking from a dream. We begin to see the folly of a week of wicked fun, bought with months of weary slaving, punching bullocks on the run. But our views are somewhat tempered when we've done a 12-months drouth, and our thoughts ain't so religious when the team is heading south. When the pleasure is before us, work and worry at our back, we forget the grim reformers out along the homeward track. What's the odds? It's got to happen. What we've done, we'll do again. And we know it while we make 'em, resolutions are in vain. Life's a weary track to travel, mostly full of ruts and stumps. Them that finds their days in drudging have to take their joy in lumps. Yoke 'em up and get a move on. Gayest times must have an end. There's a weary track to travel when we've nothing left to spend. If there's still a bob, we'll wet it, and a last glad joke we'll crack. Time enough for vain regretting when we're on the homeward track. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Horrors of War by Janet Hamilton. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Verses suggested by the war in the Crimea, 1854. Flapping fierce her gory pinions, whetting sharp her crimson beak, vulture war her barbarous minions calls their ghastly prey to seek. Now her hideous form comes swooping from the thundering rampart's height, o'er the carnaged valley stooping, gorged with slaughter, Horrid sight! Shot and shell, the dark air rending, sulphurous flash, and bayonets gleam, shouts and shrieks, and groans wild blending with her loud discordant scream. High the purple tide is swelling o'er the dark ensanguined plain, from 1,000 bosoms welling, mangled limbs and shattered brain. Oh, for angel eye and station, far above the battle cloud, whence I'd view the dread migration of the unbodied spirit crowd. Through eternity's dark portals, to the abodes of weal or woe, swiftly rush the new immortals. Lord, how long shall it be so? Summerland, oh, beauteous region, rich in foliage, flowers, and fruit, shall the foe, whose name is Legion, keep and tread thee under foot? Round thy leaguered port and city, volleying thunder's ceaseless roar, earth affords not aid or pity, they shall fall to rise no more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Joyride by C.J. Dennis. Read for LibriVox.org by Algy Pug. Ah, God, it makes me sick to think of what I heard and seen. Poor Harry, like a wet rag flung across the wrecked machine, and Rose, her face all china white against the gory green. Now, Harry Cox, he drives a car for Dr. Percy Gray. Says he to me, on Sunday next, the doc will be away. How is it for a little trip to Fernville for the day? I know 2 bonzer girls, he says, fair oddies both they are. There's Rose, who's hers behind the joint in Mudge's privet bar, and Lena Crump, who jerks the pump down at the Southern Star. Now, who'd refuse a Sunday trip with girls and all give in? The car was there and oil to spare. To rat would be a sin. And who'd refuse a drop of booze when pals is flush a tin? What all the courts and papers say can't add to my distress. Rose, with the blood upon her face and on her crumpled dress, and that poor champ who got the bump, oh, God, he was a mess. The girls had stout at 10 Mile out, and we was drinking beer. I swear they lies like hell who says that we was on our ear. For, as we was both, I take me oath, as sober as me hair. Now, Lena was a dashin' piece, high-spirited and flash. 'Twas plain enough to me that day that Harry'd done his dash. And Rose, how her eyes did stare. Rose was my special mash. It's easy now for folks to talk who might have done the same. We meant no harm to anyone, and Harry knew his game. 'Twas like a flash, the skid, the crash, and we was not to blame. I wished I could shut out that sight, forget that awful row. Poor Rose, her face all china white, like I can see it now, and Harry, like a heap of clothes, just chucked there anyhow. They says we painted Fernville red, they says that we was gay, but what's come after dulls me mind to what them liars say. We never dreamt of death and hell when we set out that day. 'Twas evenin' when we turned for home, the moon shone full that night, and for a mile or more ahead the road lay gleamin' white, and Rose sat close aside of me, her face turned to the light. What if we sung a song or two? What if they heard us shout? Is song and laughter things to curse and make a fuss about? Go faster, faster, Lena screams, and Harry led her out. I'd give me soul just to forget. Lord, how her eyes did stare, her kisses warm upon me lips. I seen a lion there, blood on her face, all china white, and on her yeller hair. I never took no heed of pace, I've been on 20 trips, and Rose was restin' in me arms, her cheek against my lips. A precious lot I dream of skids, a lot I thought of slips. I only know we never thinks, I know we never dreams of folk walkin' on that road, till, sudden, Lena screams, and after that, the sights I saw I've seen again in dreams. We never seen the bloke ahead, how can they call us rash? I just seen Harry move to shove his arm around his mash. I seen her jump to grab the wheel, then Lord, there came the smash. Oh, they can blame and cry their shame. It ain't for that I care. I held her in my arms and laughed, then seen a lion there, the moonlight streamin' on her face and on her yeller hair. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Low Barometer by Robert Bridges. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. The south wind strengthens to a gale. Across the moon the clouds fly fast. The house is smitten as with a flail. The chimney shudders to the blast. On such a night, when air has loosed its guardian grasp on blood and brain, old terrors then of god or ghost creep from their caves to life again. And reason kens Ye Heraclitus a haunted house. Tenants unknown assert their squalid lease of sin with earlier title than his own. Unbodied presences, the packed pollution and remorse of time, slipped from oblivion reenact the horrors of unhousehold crime. Some men would quell the thing with prayer, whose sightless footsteps pad the floor, whose fearful trespass mounts the stair, or bursts the locked forbidden door. Some have seen corpses long interred escape from hallowing control. Pale charnel forms, nay even have heard the shrilling of a troubled soul, that wanders till the dawn hath crossed the dolorous dark, or earth hath wound closer her storm-spread cloak, and thrust the baleful phantoms underground. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Man's Testament by Adam Lindsay Gordon, 1833 to 1870. Read for LibriVox.org by Hatton43 in October 2016. Question not, but live and labour till your goal be won, helping every feeble neighbour, seeking help from none. Life is mostly froth and bubble, two things stand like stone: kindness in another's trouble, courage in your own. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Meeting by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston, Tharp. After so long an absence, at last we meet again. Does the meeting give us pleasure, or does it give us pain? The tree of life has been shaken, and but few of us linger now, like the prophet's 2 or 3 berries in the top of the uppermost bough. We cordially greet each other in the old familiar tone, and we think, though we do not say it, how old and gray he has grown. We speak of a Merry Christmas and many a Happy New Year, but each in his heart is thinking of those that are not here. We speak of friends and their fortunes, and of what they did and said, till the dead alone seem living, and the living alone seem dead. And at last we hardly distinguish between the ghosts and the guests, and a mist and a shadow of sadness steals over our merriest jests. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
North Wind by Lola Ridge. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. I love you, malcontent male wind, shaking the pollen from a flower, or hurling the sea backward from the grinning sand. Blow on and over my dreams, scatter my sick dreams, throw your lusty arms about me, envelop all my hot body. Carry me to pine forests, great rough-bearded forests. Bring me to stark plains and steppes. I would have the north to-night, the cold, enduring north. And if we should meet the snow, whirling in spirals, and he should blind my eyes, ally, you will defend me, you will hold me close, blowing on my eyelids. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
October 1861 by Janet Hamilton. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Not changeful April, with her suns and showers, pregnant with buds, whose birth the genial hours of teeming May will give to life and light, rich in young beauty, odorous and bright. Not rose-crowned June, in trailing robes of bloom, her flowery censers breathing rich perfume, her glorious sunshine, and her bluest skies, her wealth of dancing leaves where zephyr sighs. Nor fervid July, in her full-blown charms, shedding the odorous hay with sun-browned arms, nor glowing August, with her robe unbound, with ripening grain and juicy fruitage crowned. Nor thee, September, though thine orchards glow with fruits ripe, rich, and ruddy, laying low the yellowest grain with gleaming sickles keen, with jest and laugh, and harvest song between. I sing October, month of all the year, to poet's soul and calm deep feeling dear, her chastened sunshine, and her dreamy skies, with tender magic charm my heart and eyes. In silvery haze the purple hills are swathed, in dripping dews the faded herbage bathed. Red robin trills his winter warning ditty, his big bright eye invoking crumbs and pity. From fading woodlands, ever pattering down, come many tinted leaves, red, yellow, brown. The rustling carpet with slow lingering feet I thoughtful tread, inhaling odours sweet. The very soul of quietude is breathing o'er field and lake, with sweetest peace enwreathing my tranquil soul. From founts of blissful feeling, sweet silent tears adown my cheeks are stealing. Spirit of meekness brooding in the air, on thy soft pinions waft my lowly prayer, that I may meet, calm, meek, resigned, and sober, my life's decline, my solemn last October. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Once More Fields and Gardens by Taiyun Ming, translated by Amy Lowell and Florence Askew. Read for LibriVox.org by Sonia. Once more fields and gardens. Even as a young man, I was out of tune with ordinary pleasures. It was my nature to love the rooted hills, the high hills which look upon the four edges of heaven. What folly to spend one's life like a dropped leaf, snared under the dust of streets! But for 13 years it was so I lived. The caged bird longs for the fluttering of high leaves. The fish in the garden pool languishes for the whirled water of meeting streams. So I desire to clear and see the patch of the wild southern moor. And always a countryman at heart, I have come back to the square enclosures of my fields, and to my walled garden with its quiet paths. Mine is a little property of 10 mu or so, a thatched house of 8 or 9 rooms. On the north side the eaves are overhung with the thick leaves of elm trees, and willow trees break the strong force of the wind. On the south, in front of the great hall, peach trees and plum trees spread a net of branches before the distant view. The village is hazy, hazy, and mist sucks over the open moor. A dog barks in the sunken lane which runs through the village. A cock crows, perched on a clipped mulberry. There is no dust or clatter in the courtyard before my house. My private rooms are quiet, and calm with the leisure of moonlight through an open door. For a long time I lived in a cage. Now I have returned, for one must return to fulfill one's nature. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Promenade by Lola Ridge. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Undulant rustlings of oncoming silk, rhythmic, incessant, like the motion of leaves. Fragments of color in glowing surprises, pink innuendos hooded in gray, like buds in a cobweb, pearled at dawn. Glimpses of green, and blurs of gold, and delicate mauves that snatch at youth, and bodies all rosily fleshed for the airing, in warm velvety surges, passing imperious, slow. Women drift into the limousines that shut like silken caskets on gems, half weary of their glittering. Lamps open like pale moonflowers. Arcs are radiant opals strewn along the dusk. No common lights invade. And spires rise like litanies, magnificats of stone, over the white silence of the arcs, burning in perpetual adoration. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Silver by Walter de la Mare. Read for LibriVox.org by Kangaroo. Slowly, silently, now the moon walks the night in her silver shoon. This way and that she peers and sees silver fruit upon silver trees. One by one the casements catch her beams beneath the silvery thatch. Couched in his kennel like a dog, with paws of silver sleeps the dog. From their shadowy coat the white breasts peep, of doves in a silver feathered sleep. A harvest mouse goes scampering by, with silver claws and silver eye, and moveless fish in the water gleam by silver reeds in a silver stream. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Sleep by Walter de la Mare. Read for LibriVox.org by Kangaroo. Men all, and birds and creeping beasts, when the dark of night is deep, from the moving wonder of their lives commit themselves to sleep. Without or thought or fear, they shut their narrow gates of sense, heedless and quiet in slumber turn their strength to impotence. The transient strangeness of the earth their spirits no more see, within a silent gloom withdrawn they slumber in secrecy. 2 worlds they have, a globe forgot, wheeling from dark to light, and all the enchanted realm of dream that burgeons out of night. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sonnet 73 by William Shakespeare. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. That time of year thou mayst in me behold, when yellow leaves, or none or few, do hang upon these boughs which shake against the cold, bare ruined choirs, where late the sweet birds sang. In me thou seest the twilight of such day as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away, death's second self, that seals up all in rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the death-bed whereon it must expire, consumed with that which it was nourished by. This thou perceiv'st, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well which thou must leave ere long. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Valley of Unrest by Edgar Allan Poe. Read for LibriVox.org by Jim Nyenhuis. Once it smiled a silent dell where the people did not dwell. They had gone into the wars, trusting to the mild-eyed stars nightly from their azure towers to keep watch above the flowers, in the midst of which all day the red sunlight lazily lay. Now each visitor shall confess the sad valley's restlessness. Nothing there is motionless, nothing save the airs that brood over the magic solitude. Ah, by no wind are stirred those trees that palpitate like the chill seas around the misty Hebrides. Ah, by no wind those clouds are driven that rustle through the unquiet heaven uneasily from morn till even, over the violets there that lie in myriad types of the human eye, over the lilies there that wave and weep above a nameless grave. They wave. From out their fragrant tops eternal dews come down in drops. They weep. From off their delicate stems perennial tears descend in gems. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Witch by Mary Elizabeth Coleridge. Read for LibriVox.org by Thomas Peter. I have walked a great while over the snow, and I am not tall nor strong. My clothes are wet, and my teeth are set, and the way was hard and long. I have wandered over the fruitful earth, but I never came here before. Oh, lift me over the threshold, and let me in at the door. The cutting wind is a cruel foe, I dare not stand in the blast. My hands are stone, and my voice a groan, and the worst of death is past. I am but a little maiden still, my little white feet are sore. Oh, lift me over the threshold, and let me in at the door. Her voice was the voice that women have, who plead for their heart's desire. She came, and the quivering flame sunk and died in the fire, and never was lit again on my hearth, since I hurried across the floor, to lift her over the threshold, and let her in at the door. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.